Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're on January the 2nd. It's a Sunday. We're, I think, on our fourth day of passage from Mindelo to Barbados. I think at this moment we're about 200 something, I forgot to check, 250 nautical miles from Mindelo. So we're in the fourth day of what should be about 13, 14, 15 days passage. Chris just finished up cooking, doing the dishes. And on deck we have Charlie on watch at the helm. It's a beautiful sunny day. Every day in this passage from Cape Verde to Barbados, it's been a beautiful day. We don't expect anything less because we're in the trade winds, which are strong, stable winds, and also winds with every day a sky like this one. It's blue. The sky is always blue. Well, that's so true. But a nice blue, clear sky, sometimes with a little bit of a cover, a cloud cover, but never rain or squalls. Here in the trade winds, that does not happen. At this moment, we have the wind straight from behind us, so we're running in what the English call a gull-wing configuration, a gull-wing from seagull, wide wings. So we have a wing and wing with wide wings. Genoa on a pole on the left, and we have a jib on the right. So this configuration you can only really run when you are running downwind. Talking about wind, so the trade winds are very stable. We have between 15 and 25 knots at any given moment. Trade winds come mostly from the same direction, which is northeast. So I think the wind at the moment is running at from 60 degrees. It's a little bit messy in the cockpit. We haven't cleaned up really after the night, so the cushions are undone. We have a little Jenny because yesterday, despite the sun, yesterday was a bit of a hazy day, so the batteries didn't fully recharge. Usual view from the second helm station. Charlie is on the first helm station. Here the second helm station. So you see at the moment we have true wind speed is 15 knots. True wind angle 178 as the boat is rolling a bit, between 180 and 170, let's say. So the wind, as you can see, is coming straight from behind. The true wind direction is 67 degrees. So 67 degrees, as you can see in the compass here, is more or less east northeast. The normal direction for trade winds. The boat speed is 6.3 knots. Which is the speed the boat is running over water. And if you look at the actual speed over ground, so the speed that we're moving, let's say over the earth, is 6.2 knots. So these two are more or less the same. There's a little bit of current here on the ocean, but not that much. You can also see in the instrumentation not only the speed over ground, also the course over the ground, which means that we're running at 241 degrees, which is more or less the same as you see on the compass. 240 something degrees, which is almost straight towards Barbados. Actually, Barbados is already in there as a waypoint. So yeah. Nice, calm day. Oh, there's a swell, of course. There's always swell in the trade winds. Let me just turn around here. So it's always difficult to show the real swell on the video. So I would say the ocean swell is a couple of meters, very steady, and then the wind swell, the wind waves generated by the wind, are, I would say, maybe 2 meters or something. They're shorter and steeper, and sometimes made the boat rock quite a bit. Yesterday we had winds, I think, up to 20, even 25 knots, and then the boat rocks a lot. It's always impressive, and you need to really hold on with 2 hands, but never dangerous. I don't think one single wave splashed over the boat, not even at 25 knots. Mainly because the wind came from the backside, what is the stern quarter. I don't think in this whole passage the boat ever had any water splashing over its side on the deck. She's also a very ocean-worthy vessel. As I promised in one of my last videos, I wanted to run over a bit of the ropes that we have here on the vessel. In one of my previous videos I gave an overview of how it looks from the bow. By the way, as we look at this, it's always impressive to see the horizon disappearing and appearing. So we're now at the high of a wave, you see the horizon, and then a wave passes us, and the only thing you can see, like now, is the wave in front of us. I love this one. So in one of my previous videos I gave a bit of an overview as how all the ropes look like at the bow of the boat. So here in this video I wanted to give a little bit of an overview of the different lines that we have, and on this boat we have a lot of lines because we have a lot of different sails. So we have the Genoa, and not all of the sails are up. So we have the Genoa on the left, we have the jib, the second foresail on the right. We have also down in the locker at the bow of the boat we have a asymmetrical spinnaker, which if we want to put it up we have to hoist separately. Then the Genoa is running on a pole. That pole itself has lines also. And then we have the mainsail here, which is at the moment furled. So all of these lines have a different function. We have lines to move things around, to hoist or lift things. We have lines to manage the sails. Well, they all more or less manage the sails, or something that belongs to the sails. So there's some of them that are up at the mast. Lines that we normally don't use much, and we have some lines that are running to the back of the ship. These are mostly sheets. Sheets are lines that, like this one, that run from the end of the sail. On either side normally you have an active sheet like this one. A lazy sheet from that one. So you turn the sail to the side, use the sheet. So every foresail has 2 sheets. So we have 2 foresails. We just stowed one of them. So that's already 2 lines on each side. So you see them here. You have a light blue one and a dark blue one. And on the other side you have exactly the same. So that's just for the foresails. Then if you run under Genoa, we have another sheet, which is that one over there. Then this Genoa that we have up now is a special one because it's running on a pole. Well, not always, but in the wind that we have right now, it's running on a pole. So that pole itself is controlled by a line lifting it up, a halyard, and a line holding it down. So the pole doesn't move up and down. Here in this case, it is connected at this corner to the sheet, active sheet of the foresail. So that pole again has 2 lines. Actually, has another line up at the mast to bring the side, the end of the pole down or up. So the pole itself has already 3 active lines. Then on the mainsail we have again quite a number of ropes. We have this mainsail. You see here it's up just a little bit, so it furls goes into the mast. So when we don't use it, it is rolled up in the mast. So we have a line that controls the furler in the mast itself, and then a line which is the outhaul to pull the sail out or not. So at the moment we have that main sail out just a little bit, and at the end over here we have the topping lift, which basically controls the boom, lifting it up or down. And then if you go further on that side, oopla, let me control the boat is running a little bit. You have a line which is the main, let's say, speedometer, not speedometer, we can spell of the main sail, which is the main sheet, the beige one there, that runs over there into a car, which moves left and right. Then you have the two red lines, which are a bit special for this boat. These are preventers. And these go all the way up here onto this cleat, and on the other side also. So these are lines that fix the boom in a position, so if there is a sudden wind change or big swell, the boom on this part doesn't swing to and fro, which is very hard not only on the whole structure but also on the gooseneck here where it links over to the mast. And then you have the black one over there. Let me zoom in a little bit. Over there you have the black one, which is the vang. The vang controls the, how should I say this, pulls the boom down, or let's go so it can go up a little bit. So all of these are like gas pedals of the boat, the vang, the main sheet. The main sheet itself is connected to a car, which you can move left and right. So we can fine tune here the main sheet. So bring it from left to right. So a lot of these lines run into the cockpit. The cockpit is the area here in the back of the boat, where Charlie at the moment has the watch. So a lot of these run from the foredeck down into the cockpit, because for the lines that we use a lot, we don't want to each time run to the front of the boat. We need to do this in a protected area, which is this cockpit. You see, this is the area which is a little bit lower. So we don't want to go up in the heavy weather or at night up at the front of the bow if we can avoid it. So all of these lines that I more or less mentioned, they'll have different colors to distinguish them one from another. So it's more difficult to make mistakes. And each of them comes in, they go into a clutch. Let me see if I can find a non-active clutch here at the moment. For instance, this one is a non-active clutch. So these are breakers. So these hold the lines in place. So all of these lines are, from active, and they, when they're down in a down position, they're locked. So each of them are labeled. So we have the Traveler, which is this car. We have the this is, I think, one of the Genoa furling lines. This is one of the Halyards. Actually, this is the one that we broke on the previous passage, shaved through. So there is one halyard line to pull one of the four sails up. We have a second halyard for one of the four sails. We have the halyard of the jib, so the one that lifts the jib up and down. Normally we don't do this, we fur them. You have the outhaul of the main, which is the one that pulls the main sail out. You have the vang, remember the black one up there that pulls it down. Then you have on the other side, you have the main sheet, which is the main gas pedal here of the main sail. You have the main furling line, the one that is controlling the roll-up of the main sail into the mast. You have the tack, the yellow tack, which is one of the lines that is used when we run under spinnaker, for instance, to pull the spinnaker down. We have the green tack, which I think is in use right now, which is controlling the down pull of one of the pole. You have the topping lift, which is the one that we use at the end of the boom to pull the boom up. You have the furling line for the big Genoa, the one up in the front, at the very front of the boat. And then you have the left side of the car, of the traveler, which is the one that's going left-right. Now, these are all lines which, when under pressure, you cannot pull manually. You would hurt yourself. Or when they're under tension, there's way too much pressure to be able to hold it with 1 or 2 persons. So all of these are, when we work with them, either we let go or we pull them in. We put them on the winches, so they go around the winch, and then we can either pull manually or we can use a winch handle like this one. We can use a winch handle to put into the winch like this, and then we turn it around. That way we can give much more force. We have a winch on the left, the winch on the right, and we also have the bigger winches for the sheets. One on the left, one on the right, one on the left. And then beyond that we have, so all of these, by the way, people might say, what a mess is your boat. But we don't roll up these lines because these lines are all used either to hoist sails or to control sails. So you see at this moment we have 2 lines in use in the front, 1 line in the back. Well, that one is actually not active at the moment because we just took a sail down, and 1 active in the back. So at any given time when we change the sails or we fine tune, we trim the sails, some of these lines are used. So if you roll them up every time that you use them, you unroll them. The shorter ones we leave on the cockpit, like these, or the ones which are not used a lot. The real active ones we just throw down in the saloon area. So you see here we have, this is the main sheet. This is the main furling. We have the main outhaul, because we just worked on the main sail, and then we have the vang. So we just throw them down because they're quite long, into the galley. And so you see, this is how we have lines. This is why we have lines all over. And we have 1 line here, which is the line to protect ourselves from tripping over the charging cable, which connects to the iPad, to the plotter. And then we have Charlie in the back. Hey, Charlie! So this is the charging cable. Now in the first passage we tripped over here many times. So we put the line in here, so we'd rather break or get stuck on the line rather than on the charging cable. And then we have a couple of spare lines. So some of these are spare lines, some of them are sheets that we don't use at the moment with this sail configuration we have up. And some of them are mooring lines, which are lines that are used when we come into port and we want to moor, or when we go on a mooring buoy. So this is your diversity of lines on a ship, apart from the fishing line here beyond Charlie. And then of course we have lines to fix things, such as fixing the dinghy at the moment. Voila! This is your menu of lines, so which one do you prefer then? Bye!